This first photo that we're looking at, you guys, as you can see, we've got this really nice day. You do have some chemtrail clouds there, it looks like, or just the haze. But look at this. Nice sun shot there. And what is that to the right? What is that to the right? Look at that, you guys. We have some type of anomaly, and it's behind the clouds. I mean, take a look at that. You can clearly see the clouds are going in front of it. So does that give it more validation? I don't know. I'm not a professional photographer, but I think it's pretty cool nonetheless, because you can see clouds going right in front of it there. So the next shot below that, there's a blue image that I'm going to show you here in a second where it was actually inverted. Same picture. You can just see that that anomaly there is still there, and there's the clouds in front of it right there. I think that's a really cool shot, and I wanted to thank Alpha Omega for sending that out to us. That was his nickname on the email. I appreciate that. That's a pretty cool shot. And once again, there's that same picture, just zoomed out a little bit. Now, this one right here, I like a lot. This was sent in from one of our listeners, and you can see all that chemtrail haze there, where you get that really cool halo. And I'm going to say that little blue anomaly at about the 7 o'clock range is definitely just a lens flare. That's typical. You'll see that a lot in these images. But man, isn't that chemtrail cover extreme right there? Definitely correlates that hypothesis of there being some type of shield around the planet. And I know Steve over there at Wormwood System Observer talks about that a lot over at WSO. And there's another picture, and this was taken by Arlene again. You can see that you just got that really interesting film that seems to cover the entire globe, and mainly here in the U.S. But once again, that's just an anomaly, or I mean a lens flare, not any anomaly that I'd be concerned about. But this one right here I think is really cool. This is from Ash Alay. That's her nickname. And I don't know if that is lens flare there, you guys, or if that is actually a planet or a moon of some type, or what that is. But some people might say that could be the blue Kachina that's talked about in prophecy. I don't know. Looks like a really cool Chinese lantern nonetheless. They get really big in space. You guys have heard about that, right? How those Chinese lanterns, when they get into space, they expand to the size of planets. I'm just joking. Somebody thought I was serious the other day when I said it was swamp gas. They left some comments there. I thought that was... Yeah, I wasn't serious, you guys. Swamp gas is just a ridiculous attempt of humor. But that's another cool anomaly right there. Look at that. You can see it's the same shape, and it doesn't have that red coloring around it like sometimes lens flares do. So I think that's a good shot right there, that you may be onto something. I appreciate you sending that out to us, Ash Alay. All right, now this one is sent by Beatriz Gomez. And the reason I like this one is, first of all, you can tell the sun's just super bright right there. Talk about extreme. But look at that little anomaly at the top. I don't know if that's just a solar flare, and the way that it was picked up by the camera is to look round like that, or if that could possibly be a planetary body really close to the sun that isn't normally there. It's pretty cool. I like that one. You can see the sun's pretty extreme. Make sure to have your polarized sunglasses on if you're going to even get close to looking in that direction. I'll tell you, the sun has just gotten so intense over the past 20 years. I can really feel it on my skin when I go outside. I ride my bike a lot, and the weather, even if it's the same temperature, the sun just feels more extreme. Now look at this one. This one's sent in by Derek Page. Thank you, Derek, for sending us this image. You definitely need to clean your lens there. You can see you got some spots from a little bit of dirt or something probably. But look at that anomaly on top of that. Is that a second sun coming into play, and that's why they've got so many chemtrails to try and block that so people aren't so freaked out? Or is that just one sun, and that's the way that the image is taken on the camera that's being used? I'm not sure. I couldn't find who sent me this image, so I appreciate whoever you are. I'm not sure if this is just a really cool picture that kind of looks like there's an anomaly above the sun that might be a planet or something, but I'm going to zoom in here in a moment. And I think this one's just a really cool glare there, because once you zoom in more, that doesn't seem as circular. But I don't know. I mean, it could be a sundog. I think that's a good shot nonetheless. So whoever sent this to me, thank you very much. This one's from James Kelly. You can see the little rainbow, partial rainbow there, the glare from the chemtrails and the sun. Not really sure why it comes up like that. If there's an expert that's got some actual testing documents of the atmosphere in certain areas when you see these type of anomalies. It'd be great to see the scientific data behind it. I'd really like to see that. And speaking of scientific data, I just watched a film that reminded me of vaccines, because in this film they were putting these nanotubes in the vaccines to be able to make it easier for satellites to send thoughts into people's minds via wirelessly. And I wonder, man, what are they putting in the vaccines? But I'm digressing. Let's go back to this shot. This is taken from Mark. Mark, I appreciate you sending this out to us. You can see the lens flare right there. But what is this to the bottom? Take a look at that. As you can see, that little circular thing down there, maybe that's just really cool flare from the sun or reflection somehow, but I think that's a neat picture nonetheless. That might be an object, I don't know. Then you're going to see the picture below it. You can tell it's still there, and it just seems like it's transparent. Now, could that be some type of cloaking technology? I don't know. I'm not an expert in that kind of stuff anyway. I'm an expert in babbling. I can babble a lot about stuff. Just kidding, guys. But here, take a look at this. We're going to go to the next image here. When we scroll down a little bit further, you can see this one. This one was taken by Mark Pagan, and he used a Canon power shot taken out in Pennsylvania. Just a beautiful picture there. You can see there's a lot of lens flare, obviously, and just because of the limited technology that cameras have right now, when you take a shot, you're going to see a lot of glare and flare and whatever you want to call it. But look at these two anomalies right here. I think that one's really cool. The purplish one, the blue one. Now, obviously, that's lens flare to the left of that. I like that one. I think that's a good shot. So I appreciate you sending that one out to us, Mark, from Pennsylvania. Have you guys ever seen a picture like that before? If you have any images like this, I'd certainly like to see them. Guest bookings at leakproject.com. The more information you can give us, the better. The reason I'm kind of circling those areas there is because I think that those are just some type of reflection from how bright the sun actually is. I don't think there's anything to that. I don't feel that those are planets being cloaked or anything like some people have talked about, but I could be wrong. So if you guys have images like this, though, if you can give us details on where you took the shot, what time, what kind of camera it is, any details would be great. The more the better. And below this image, this one was taken by Paul out there in Sweden. Man, I think it'd be fun to go out in Sweden, don't you? This image, in my opinion, is probably a sundog, just because I've seen a lot of images that are sundogs that are very similar to this. I do find it fascinating nonetheless. Now, obviously, you got that chemtrail cloud cover to block most of it, and appreciate you sending that out to us, Paul. Keep up the good work. This one right here, you guys, is probably one of my very favorites that we've looked at so far. This was taken by Rick Grimm. Thank you, Rick. He sent us this on Facebook. We're also on Facebook if you want to find us, Leak Project. Also, youtube.com/clandestine time lord. If you subscribe and become a member, you'll have access to all the latest podcasts first and free. Look at that anomaly behind the cloud cover there. Look at that. I find that fascinating. It's shooting right through the clouds there, though. So it's not like somebody overlaid that. And if it was Photoshopped, man, you did a very good job, because it doesn't look Photoshopped to me. When I zoom in right there, you can see clearly it's still there. Clouds right over it. So I think that's a good image. I really appreciate that one, Rick. That one's one of my favorites. Now this next one's by Sunchild. I just want to show you this because of the amount of chemtrails that they're spraying into the atmosphere. I really doubt that those are contrails from typical commercial jet airliners or people traveling from point A to point B, from Dallas to Denver or whatever. I mean, those look like a pattern of some sort to block out the sun there. You can see the sundogs to the left and the right and that really cool halo. And then you've got this new yellow Kachina. That's the Pac-Man. I'm just joking, obviously. That's lens flare. That's a bad joke. All right, this one was sent to us by Teresa Caldwell. Hey, Teresa, you got some great pictures and video footage. She's on Facebook, also on YouTube. If you want to look through some of her work, she's sent us several photos before, and Bob's that's been with us has presented them. This one I find fascinating because look at how big that is. Some people think that that's the nemesis. Some people think the sun's down here and that is the nemesis, and that's why there's so many chemtrails, to prevent people from being able to see it clearly, so that way you don't get mass panic. I don't know. That's a great shot. I like that. Thank you for sending it to us, Teresa. And this one is by Tori. Appreciate this image, Tori. This is the moon. And then right below the moon, what do we have here? Is this another moon? That's an interesting photo, isn't it? Could that be another planet that isn't supposed to be there? Is that a clay pigeon? Somebody playing Battlestar Galactica in virtual reality. I don't know. I like that, though. I think that's a good shot. Let you get a clear look of it there for a second. And then this next one. This one's by Tony. And this one's really good. Thank you, Tony, for sending us this image on our Facebook page. You can see clearly that really thing is huge. To the left of the sun, or it appears that way. I doubt that's Mercury. I don't know. What do you guys think it is? Is that the red Kachina? Yeah, so this next image I find fascinating because it looks like the sun's getting ready to set, and this is from a webcam out in the South Pole. One of our listeners sent me some screenshots and kind of turned me on to this South Pole webcam website. So I don't know what that white bright light is at the top there. You guys can check that out on occasion. There's some really neat anomalies that I'm not sure what they are. So some people that are very well versed in astrology that might be interested in this, check out this website. Just type in South Pole webcam. Now this one right here, we had Jason Jeffries on with us last night, and I noticed that particular podcast has gotten really good reviews so far, and a lot of views too. I mean, I think we've got over 12,000 views in just one day. I think that's pretty good. And he presented this one to us as possibly the red Kachina or the red dragon. Looks like the cosmic clown.